Hi guys, welcome to my live. It's me, Tamar here, the prophetess. Today I'm outside, as you can see. It's such a beautiful day. Hi Apata, hi Mary May. Hi guys. It's a beautiful day in the north of England. It's very nice. Today I'm going to be talking about hay fever. I'm going to be talking about healing. I'm going to be talking about holistic healing. A lot of people in this country suffer from hay fever. So I want to talk about it because it's something really important. I used to be a sufferer of this ailment. I suffered crazily from hay fever from when I was still in Zimbabwe, like many years ago. So I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about healing, how you can get delivered and how you can get healed from hay fever. You can get healed from hay fever. You can get delivered. You can get delivered from hay fever. You can get healing from hay fever, but you have to know and understand. You have to know and understand more about the ailment and what causes it. And hay fever is one of those sickness that doesn't have a cure. Okay, it's not like you can go to your doctor and your doctor can deliver you. It's one of those things that even doctors, even the most learned physicians don't know what to do with hay fever. People can't get delivered from it, but I've been delivered from it. I'm totally healed. And like today in the north of England, the pollen count is really high, but you can look at me, I'm fine. There was a time in my life where when I'm outside and I couldn't even go outside. I've suffered so much from hay fever that I couldn't even go outside. Like when the pollen count is so high, I couldn't even go outside. I stay indoors, I close all windows, and my eyes will be puffy, I'll be sneezing. That's how much I've suffered from hay fever. And you have to understand that hay fever is such a serious ailment. It affects your day-to-day life. It takes away from you, and it's very spiritual. If something can't be healed by medical doctors, it means that it's spiritual. You have to understand that. If something can be healed by medical doctors and modern science, then you know that it's spiritual. Okay, so in most cases, hay fever is not just hay fever. Hay fever, it's a spirit, it's an attack, it's a spiritual ailment, and normally there's a root to it. Okay, there's normally a root to it. So you have to understand why you get hay fever, when you started getting hay fever. And the healing of hay fever is not something that just happens overnight. Okay, you don't just wake up and say, ta-da, I'm healed from hay fever. It's a process. You have to understand why you've got hay fever and where the spirit is coming from. Okay, you have to get proper divine healing from hay fever. You have to get proper divine healing from hay fever. So yeah, for me, I'll tell you a little bit about how I got this deliverance and how I got my total healing. I got total healed. I was healed completely. I got divine healing from hay fever. And those who suffer from it will know how serious it is, will know that hay fever is not a joke. When you're suffering from it, you can't think, you can't do anything. Your face is like it's on fire. It's really, really bad, and it's such a cruel ailment. Very, very people who don't have it don't understand how serious it is. But when you have it, you really, really suffer. You really, really suffer. So for me, it was understanding. I always had a severe case of hay fever. It was so severe, it was really, really serious. And it's something that I used to dread summer because of it. I'll be looking forward to summer, but I'll be dreading it because I know that my hour of suffering has come. That's how bad it was. I'll know that really my hour of suffering has come. That's how bad my hay fever was. Okay. But this is why I really love my Lord husband, and I really, really respect him. Yeah, okay. Someone's called Lily Pale Rose has said, especially this year, I have suffered. It's so true. This year, and it's like that with hay fever. Some years it's not so bad, and then some years it's really bad. It depends on the season, and it depends on the winds, which side or where the wind's coming from. This year, for hay fever sufferers, it's been really, really bad in the UK because the winds are just different. The pollen is very, very vicious. It's very, very crazy. So this year, I know that people are suffering. I know that for hay fever sufferers, it's such a crazy season. It's very painful. It was like influenza. It's very, very true. It's worse than influenza. It's really worse. Let me tell you something. I consider hay fever to be worse than childbirth. I have given birth 7 times, and I consider hay fever to be such a more worse ailment than childbirth, because my labor, when I go into labor, it's really quick, and I know that, okay, my hour of suffering has come. Then I'll just 3 hours, 2 hours, I've got my contractions, and within 2 hours I'm holding a baby in my arms. So if I was given a choice, I would choose childbirth over hay fever. That's how bad it is, because you'll be suffering every single day. Even if you go to your GP, they cannot help you. Sometimes I've been on antibiotics. Sometimes I've been given the most powerful antihistamines, but they won't even touch it. They won't even work. They won't even relieve your symptoms. That's how bad hay fever is. You're right. It's worse than influenza. It's really, really bad. So now I'm going to talk about the solution. I'm going to talk about the healing. You can get delivered, Pale Rose Lily. You can get delivered from hay fever. But like I said, deliverance and healing from hay fever, you have to understand, like, this is not even a joke. You have to understand the spirit, okay? You have to understand the spirit of yeah, I know. You feel dizzy, severe headaches, it's true, tiredness, you feel like fainting, and you sleep all the time. And the thing is, with most of the antihistamines, the problem is they make you also dizzy, okay? A very few are non-drowsy. Most antihistamines put you to sleep. Okay, most antihistamines put you to sleep, so they're not even good for you, okay? They just knock you out. So, and you can't even drive. With most antihistamines, if you take them, you can't drive because they put you to sleep, okay? So, okay, Lily, Pale, is it Pale Rose? Yeah, Pale Rose. You can get delivered, okay? You can get delivered, but you have to understand the tide. You have to understand how you got hay fever, which season it started. When you're getting any kind of healing, especially if it's spiritual, it's very important that you understand where the tide came from. Because believe it or not, hay fever is spiritual. Hay fever is an attack. It's something that the enemy actually puts on you. He strikes you, okay? Hay fever is an attack. Hay fever, it's a spiritual ailment. That's why doctors struggle to cure it, okay? So to get divine healing from hay fever, for me personally, if I talk about my journey, how I got healed, my Lord husband helped me a lot, okay? Love, especially, I'm going to talk about love. Love goes a long way in healing, okay? Before we go anywhere, love itself, just love, goes a long way in healing. I'll give you an example. If your child has got a headache, or if your child has hurt themselves, for those of you who's got little children, if your child hurts themselves, like let's say they bruise their leg, okay, and they bruise their leg and they start crying, do you know that when they see their mommy, when they come to mom, and you go like, oh sweetie, oh, you know what, then you kiss the wound, the child starts to feel better and they stop crying, even though it's still painful, but the pain goes because of the love. The pain goes. This is just North here. Let me show you. North, say hello. Mwah, say hello. Come on, say hello. Okay, can you get him? Okay, that was just North. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, so what I'm saying is, when a child is hurt, no matter what has happened to them, the moment they see their mother, the moment the mother hugs them, they start to feel better. Okay, they start to feel better. Why? Because love heals. Before you go anywhere, love heals. And for me to get my total healing from hay fever, it started with my Lord husband. Why? Because for me it was a spiritual curse that was put on me. The curse of hay fever was actually given to me as a child. When I was a little child, it was associated with witchcraft. Yes, believe it or not, a lot of ailments which are spiritual, most of them can be curses. Most of them, someone would have put it on you. You could have, in the physical, it could manifest as hay fever. You could even have diabetes. You could even have asthma, yet it's spiritual. Why? Because someone can actually put a spell on you to open you up to a spiritual ailment. Okay? Just like the woman with the issue of blood. If you remember, in the New Testament, there's a woman with the issue of blood, a woman who had gone everywhere, to doctors and to physicians. She had a hemorrhage and she was always bleeding, yet it was spiritual. That's why she needed a spiritual healer. Okay, so you could have an ailment and it manifests in the physical, but it's spiritual. So for me personally, I was able to recognize that my hay fever was, one, spiritual, two, it was to do with witchcraft, with curses, because it's something that took over my life. The pain was too much. It was tormenting me all my life until now I'm delivered. Okay, so you have to understand the source of your spiritual ailment. I am not saying everybody who's got hay fever, somebody bewitched you. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that with most spiritual ailments, it's very possible. Let's say if you're coming from a family of witchcraft, family that does curses, especially someone like me who came from a family of witchcraft, family of curses, it's very, very important for you to understand the source of your suffering. Okay, so when you understand that already, when you know the source of your ailment already, it loses its power. Okay, knowledge itself is power. Not just knowing the source of something gives you some sort of power. Then it was my Lord husband. My Lord husband himself is a healer. Okay, this is why we've got the Moors Wellness Center. The Moors Wellness Center is all about divine healing. My Lord husband has got the gift of healing. Okay, so when I first started getting my deliverance, my Lord husband, and also when you're talking about divine healing, you're talking about holistic healing. Healing is not just about one thing. Healing is divine. Healing is holistic. Okay, so for me, before I talk about my Lord husband, how my Lord husband helped me, I'll show you something. Let me just show you something. Let me show you. You see, I've got my basket here. I don't know if you can see it. Right. Okay, so you see this is honey. It's called Manuka honey, and it's the most expensive honey. Like this little jar, I got this for like over 50 pounds. It's from New Zealand. It's raw honey. It's very special type of honey. So this has helped in my holistic healing of hay fever. Okay, this has helped me a lot. But you can't just go and buy this Manuka honey and just tomorrow you're healed. It doesn't work like that. You have to understand your hay fever. You have to understand the tide. You have to understand the spirit for you to get your full healing, your holistic healing. So for me, I use certain oils. I use peppermint. I use this honey. I use different things, but this has contributed towards my divine healing, towards my full healing. If you just go and buy this Manuka honey and spend 50 pounds on this little jar of honey and just think that this is what's gonna heal you, it doesn't work like that. It's holistic healing. Okay, let me show you. Let me see if I've got it again. Let me show you this. Okay, this is called Eye Bright. Okay, it's a supplement, and you get this in the UK. You get this from Holland and Barrett. For those of you, it's like a health shop. It's like a wellness shop for alternative supplements. Okay, but you're just going to buy this. It's just not gonna deliver you today from hay fever. The healing is a process. Okay, but this is very, very good for sinus pain. You can get deliverance from sinus pain. from this like puffy eyes. But just taking one tablet is not going to heal you. It's a process. This has to go into your system over time for you to be able to reap the benefits of this, and you have to take it with other things. Taking it even on its own can be very dangerous. Okay, don't overdose on things like this. You have to understand how to use it. Knowledge is power. You don't just use things. You have to have the knowledge, and you have to respect. Let me